So Rishi Sunak formally became Britain's new Prime Minister today after meeting with King Charles III. Now he is forming a cabinet, then he has to tackle the massive economic challenges facing the United Kingdom. Not to mention unite his party after a bruising and divisive few months. Let's get the very latest now from our London correspondent, Sally Patterson. Good evening to you, Sally. So talk to me about news on his cabinet. What's been confirmed so far, if anything?
Good evening. Well, those cabinet positions are being appointed thick and fast. We're seeing a stream of members of Parliament head into number 10 Downing Street, which is just up the road from where I'm standing outside Parliament, as Rishi Sunak, the brand new Prime Minister, the third in just 2 months, is putting together his new cabinet, his new team, who will lead the country through the next couple of years at least. Behind me, you might be able to hear some Rishi Sunak supporters who've been gathering outside of Parliament to celebrate the news that we heard yesterday and to celebrate what's today his first official day as Prime Minister, the first British Asian Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So with regards to the cabinet, we've already heard that Sally Patterson has been reappointed as the Home Secretary. Now, she stepped down from Liz Truss's cabinet just less than a week ago, and we've just heard that she's going to be retaking up that position under Rishi Sunak. Penny Mordaunt, who you might remember was Rishi Sunak's rival in what would have been a leadership contest if she had successfully got 100 backers, but we found out she only got around 90. But she has been also given her position as leader of the House of Commons, and so that's relatively unusual to be put back in that position. And we're seeing lots of other roles being filled. We understand that Jeremy Hunt, who was brought in under Liz Truss to replace Kwasi Kwarteng as the Chancellor a couple of weeks ago, he will be remaining in that Chancellor or Finance Minister position. So that will hopefully be a bit of continuity, a bit of stability over the next few months as the Chancellor and the Prime Minister try and get the economy back to where it's supposed to be after a very turbulent couple of months.
Yeah, and of course that really is the biggest challenge that Rishi Sunak faces. I suppose as a former Chancellor of the Exchequer himself, former Finance Minister, he knows the numbers, he knows what needs to be done. And of course he's been vindicated by saying that Liz Truss's plan would tank the markets, which it did indeed. Speaking of the markets, how is the pound doing on the news of Rishi Sunak being instated as Prime Minister today?
Well, we've literally seen in the last few minutes that the pound has hit its highest level since before the mini-budget. So the mini-budget was announced by Kwasi Kwarteng at the end of last month when Liz Truss was in position as Prime Minister just for those short few weeks. And that mini-budget, which really wasn't so mini at all, it was a lot of very big policies, a lot of big tax cuts, led to the markets going absolutely crazy. We saw the pound drop to the lowest level on record against the dollar. We also saw the Bank of England have to intervene a number of times just to keep the government above water. And so now we're already seeing it really begin to bounce back. In fact, even when we started to assume that Rishi Sunak might be running to replace Liz Truss, his former rival, for that position as Prime Minister, the markets were already beginning to rally. And now, as you say, we have seen this bounce back. He's got a big job on his hands to really get the economy back to a place where it should be. And as you say, he did have the experience of being the finance minister under Boris Johnson, so he really does know the economic landscape. We haven't seen any key policies from him yet. We know what he was saying over the summer when he was running in that first leadership race, and so we have a sense of what's going to happen. He's also said that he's not going to be cutting any taxes anytime soon, and he also has suggested there might be spending cuts as well. And so we'll have to wait over the next few days. We're expecting on Monday to hear more details about what he's really expected to do and what his plans are. But for now, what we do know is that there seems to be, from the markets, a confidence in his leadership after what has been a very, very unstable few months.
Yeah, and as you say, Sally, it's quite clear what his vision is because he laid it out in that race with him and Liz Truss. So the markets have got quite a lot of certainty, and he's already building a team that is known to the markets. keeping Jeremy Hunt in that crucial position. Thank you so much for that update. So Rishi Sunak in London, wasting no time informing his cabinet. Jeremy Hunt, Chancellor of the Exchequer, the Finance Minister, he stays in that position. Suella Braverman reinstated as the Interior Minister. And Penny Mordaunt, who was his rival in the race, Leader of the House of Commons. Of course, we'll get more details on that new cabinet and what it might mean in the United Kingdom.